All right, so let me try to get everybody up to speed here. I don't even know if we have that many people from Twitter now that my Twitter thing is down, or maybe they get the update. But anyway, let me try to get everybody up to speed on what we were seeing coming into the week. Okay, we have put it this way: there were a lot of good things, a lot of constructive things that have been taking place since this market has done this. Okay. Again, just to quickly rewind, if you remember, this pink panther here, you see the pink bars? Just basically telling us this move is extended, price action wise. We were seeing some concerning things on the sentiment side, positioning side, flow side, everything we pay attention to on a day to day basis. Going into earnings season, where the risk reward just wasn't worth our while. Okay. It wasn't that it was lining up a sweet spot short. Okay. Those are rare anyway. It wasn't that, sell everything you're holding on to, even names you love with time. It was try to take off as much risk as you can, especially if you have profits, you're sitting on some profits in short-term strikes. And let's see how this plays out into earnings season, right? We spoke about that, earnings are going to be unbelievable, but everybody and their mother is already aware of that. Hence why we saw this move ahead of it. We were going to get positive economic data, the economy reopening, fantastic, but everybody is already aware of that. That's why we were doing this, and the reopening names were leading us higher. Okay, so a lot of the good was already priced in, and we were seeing that as far as sentiment and positioning, meaning that players were already positioned for the good. Okay, so since then, with the help of some sell on the news events like earnings and off economic numbers, Amazon came out, blew the number away. Stock ended up reversing, right? There was a lot of confusion out there off of it, and that's what the good priced in means. It means that the numbers are good, the news is still good. It's just this profit taking off the announcement, off the event. Okay, so it didn't translate into any material selling, more so on the NASDAQ, right? More so on the NASDAQ. Because again, reopening names, inflation names, that's where all the hot money was going. So the NASDAQ had actually a pretty nice dip to a niner here. Okay, that's nothing wrong with that. But on the S&P 500 and some of the other indices, it was more just sideways range-bound trading, okay? But all the stuff we were concerned about here going in, this price action and the noise around it, right? The rates rising a bit, the fear of inflation, everything. A sell on the news off of earnings got investors a little shaken in their boots a bit. So a lot of good came out of this period of time here. Everything we were worried about here pretty much was alleviated off this price action. Okay. Then we come into now earnings season, the bulk of it behind us, right? Things are starting to look better. We're not getting bullish signals across the board, but tech, NASDAQ, flashing some tactical bullish signs and stuff like that. And then this past Friday, over the past week, we get the Bitcoin bubble pop, in a sense, and sharpies, who we watch the positioning in the futures market, go to a max hedge position. Okay. And in simple English, those who haven't been attending this webinar have no idea what I'm talking about. We pay attention to positioning commercial hedgers, dealers in the futures market. And, there's two signals that come out of it when they take off their hedges, which is unusual, or when they go to a max hedge position, meaning that they're not looking to capitalize on any further upside. Okay, any further upside, they're willing to spit on it. They rather be fully hedged just in case something like this comes around. All right, so that's what that means. All right, so it was a bit of, kind of it rained on our parade. A lot of the good we were seeing and that we were concerned about, things getting better and better by the day, all of a sudden, a crowd that knows a lot more than me, you, or anybody else on this webinar will ever know, has gone to a cautious, is now at a cautious state on the positioning side. Okay, so that's where we start off, right? So automatically for me, okay, when I see that, I'm not going to look to get aggressive on swing positions. Okay, it doesn't really affect my trading. As far as trading is concerned, nothing really changed. The same thing that I've been doing throughout this period, I can continue to do, okay, because that really doesn't affect it. It's kind of more of a big picture, I would say intermediate term signal, all right? Because again, it doesn't mean that just because they are hedged, it doesn't mean the market has to crash. It doesn't mean that the market has to pull back today, tomorrow, or the next week. Okay, it's just that they see something, right, for the second time in this rally since the COVID lows. Okay, this is only the second time. They see something where they don't feel the exposure to the upside is worth it. Okay, that's basically the general takeaway. All right, it's not a remote control that is going to get the stocks to instantly turn down and accelerate to the downside. I mean, that's childish to even look at it that way. But to keep it, in general sense, in simple terms, the way to look at it is, players in this game that have access to information we will never have, feel like the risk reward in the futures market on the indices now we're talking is not worth it. Okay, so let me rewind quickly so you could get an idea. The last time they did that was prior to the last two times they did that. One was here around roundabout time. Okay, I'm giving you guys. Oh, okay. All right, before the election. Okay, so in this vicinity. All right, and the time before that, they did, oh God, these circles don't stay. And the time before that was probably on an average right here. No. Hedgers were actually short here, okay? So then the market took a dip and then went to new highs. And they remained max hedged, okay? So those are the two times they did it. Here, okay, we end up finding out what they were concerned about. While everybody thought COVID, the market didn't care about COVID because we went to new highs, right? We had a little dip off COVID, then we went right to new highs. Like nothing's the matter, even though people were dropping dead on the streets of China and all over Asia. Market didn't care, I remember, was quote unquote the thing that was going around Twitter. The market doesn't care, all right? And then this happened. And then, the next time, so we knew the reason why they were fully hedged, okay? The next time was for the election. And what was interesting about that period of time, okay, was that right after the election, literally the first update right after the election, okay, they took off their hedges. All right, so now we don't know these people personally, obviously. Okay. So we don't know the exact reasoning behind any of this. We're just taking best guesses here, correct? So looking at the information that we had, we could assume that the election was the binary event that they were concerned about, a potential outcome there, okay? But after the outcome of the election, they weren't concerned anymore. All right? So this didn't translate into any major correction at all, major pullback. This was a healthy consolidation. And then right after the election, the hedges came off, okay? So that's basically what we're looking at now, okay? Where we want to be aware, okay, that of the signal that they are going into a max hedge state right now, right? But we also, want to keep our eyes open because, maybe it's what's going on in crypto. Okay, this took place last week, by the way. Okay, this is last week. So we're going to find out Friday what they did mid this week, okay? Maybe the crypto market, the crypto bubble popping in a sense is something that they got really concerned about, okay? Maybe they really don't know what kind of impact it's going to have on equities. How can they? Nobody knows, right? We've seen the SPAC bubble pop. We've seen the Cathy bubble pop. We've seen every little bubble across the board that was concerning at the time pop and correct. And it did nothing to the indices. We didn't even get a correction out of it. All right? So maybe if they come to the conclusion, they realize that if it's the crypto bubble, again, I'm just guessing here anyway, but if it is the crypto bubble they're concerned about and it's not going to have an effect on equities or a drastic effect on equities, maybe they take off those hedges again. You understand? So the point I'm trying to make is it doesn't have to end up in some scary downside price action. Okay? When they get concerned or when they see something where, the risk reward to the upside gets skewed, they get hedged, right? And when they see something change there, they're going to take off their hedges. Okay? They're not like the guys on Twitter who get into a bearish stance and then pump their chest as the market continues to make highs for 9 months down the line without, when something changes. Then they're not stubborn. Okay? If it's a valuation thing and they just feel the market has come too far and the Fed's about done, right? And all the goods priced in, then what you'll see is, okay, similar to right before COVID, if this market goes to new highs and continues to rally, they will not budge. You understand? They will not budge. They will remain fully hedged. They don't care that the market is going higher. They'll spit on the rally because they are more concerned about when the turn to the downside comes. All right, so that's why what I'm saying is we're going to get more information from this point. We're going to get a lot more information from this point. But we already have a signal out of it. You know what I'm saying? That they're cautious, right? So that caution flag goes up, and we have to be aware of that. Okay. Aside from that, I'll be honest with you guys. Aside from that, okay, based on how things are set up out there, individual names, sectors, parts of the market, and hopefully, the flow will start cooperating in a better way. I don't see anything, to be overly concerned about, me personally. Now, what the hell do I know? But I'm just saying, I see constructive signs out there. The only thing that was concerning to me was crypto, and it popped. And, we should see body bags. We should see those bodies float to shore, if there are any, relatively soon. So that was my main concern about it rolling over into other parts of the market. But it hasn't, All right, so let's put sharpies aside for right now. Okay, we have the caution sign. We know that hopefully it changes, or hopefully we get a pull and they take off the hedges eventually, whatever it may be. All right. As far as the overall market is concerned now, last time we all spoke on this Tuesday webinar, okay, we were talking about how the reopening theme, the inflation theme, remember all the inflationistas? Oh my God, lumber, copper, Weimar Republic, get in your bunker, forget it. Powell doesn't know what he's doing. The Fed, they're cooking the books. Remember all that? Okay. Magically, rates have come down in the face of all that. Okay. Rates haven't gone anywhere right in the face of all that inflation noise that we were hearing. I mean, I remember fighting with 5-6 people on this Zoom about inflation at the time. Remember? Okay. So what we were seeing, though, is what was obvious to me, you, and every other Joe Schmo out there, okay, that rates should go higher. The price of copper's up. The price of lumber's up. The economy's reopening. Rates, with the economy reopening, rates can get out of the hand to the upside. All that was obvious to all of us was already priced in. Okay. Why was it priced in? Look at the price action. Look at the positioning out there, right? We looked at the positioning. Every reopening and inflation related sector out there was cooked, right? Cooked. Right? We were looking at sectors. Everything reopening and inflation related was showing heat on the sentiment side, right? On the sentiment charts we were looking at. And nobody wanted NASDAQ and tech and growth, right? Everybody got out of it. It was the obvious trade. Okay. But the problem with that was this has been going on. You understand? Where the noise was the loudest on this trade was up here, okay? What people who were screaming about inflation failed to realize, this has been going on already for months. You know what I mean? Months. You're just picking up on this now, right? But the positioning, the flow, and everything else was telling you to be ready for this months ago. So, and that's why I made the point to you guys, because and I'm being honest, I don't know much more than any of you guys on the macro side. A lot of you probably know more about on the macro end than I do. I couldn't give a shit if you do either, okay? Because that stuff a lot of times can get you in trouble. The stuff that's in front of your eyes and it's obvious to you, this market already ate it, digested it, and shit it out in the toilet bowl. It's gone. You understand? The markets look ahead. They're not looking at what we're looking at. All right. So even if you had a macro thesis to be long this stuff, reopening, inflation, and all that stuff, if you remember, I was just saying, I'm making the point that then you're looking for a healthy breather. You understand? A healthy breather out of this. But they still got to cool off and you see some rotation go back the other way. Right? Even if you're gun-ho on that inflation's coming, rates are going higher, there's still going to be breathers along the way to make you doubt that thesis. That's the problem with catching these big trades for a longer period of time. People think it's easy. You just sit in the trade and you never doubt it. You doubt that thesis a gazillion times along the way in the most bullish of trends. You know what I mean? In the most bullish of trends, you're going to doubt whatever thesis you have all that conviction in. The market's going to force you to do that. You know, so even if you're gung-ho on rates rising and there being some sort of inflation in the works, again, I don't know. I don't think anybody knows, but maybe you think you know, okay? All I was doing was making the point that there's got to be some sort of breather based off this sooner than later, all right? And that's what we're seeing now, okay? That's what we're seeing now. Let's go to, that's a good segue to go to, what? How do I get out of this now? I'm gonna, hold on a second. Oh. Where's Jack? So I could choke him down a bit. Here. Okay, so here we are. If you remember, last Tuesday, buy signals on whatever tech is on here, NASDAQ is on here for the most part, right? And basic materials hot, financials hot, mining hot, oil hot, right? All the reopening hot. And you can see now, this is going into today, they're cooling off. At the least, they're cooling off nicely, right? Here's energy again. So, and this is what we talk about risk reward. So now, you know, you don't necessarily even have to look for bullish signals, but now at least you even have a better risk reward on some of these things as they pull back. Okay, as they pull back. But this was telling us that there had to be some sort of rotation the other way. Okay, what I like right now, again, and if Sharpies weren't a pain in the ass here, I would really like it, is a lot of these underbelly growth pockets of the market have been annihilated, completely washed out, you know, completely washed out. And I think that even if this market does, because like for me, I think this market is more likely to chop and have that sort of choppy consolidation than any, you know, significant move to the downside where you get a big burst of VIX and all that. You know what I mean? I think from what I'm seeing, again, Sharpies could be seeing something totally different. I'm sure they are. But I see something like more like a healthy consolidation, something like pre-election. You know what I mean? Something similar to that. So pre-election, just to refresh your memories, okay, this is what it looked like. Okay, pull back like we had in NASDAQ. You get a rally, kind of like we're having here, right? Then you get another test. So something where you're in a range and you frustrate a lot of people, okay? If we do have that, I think the benefit to having that is that all names are not created equal out there. You know, there are a lot of names, like I just mentioned, that have crashed, absolutely crashed, okay? Who couldn't find a bid for the life of them. That if they start to see sweeper activity, they're going to present some decent setups as far as risk reward is concerned. Okay, the risk to all that would be that Sharpies see something a lot more dangerous than what we're seeing now. Okay, there's some sort of exogenous event or something, and you're not going to make any money to the upside. Okay, those growth names will probably more than likely hold up better. They will outperform both on the upside and downside. Okay, but you'd rather not be holding, especially multiple positions of anything, if this market, you know, wants to come in, I don't know, 10, 15%, right? I mean, especially options and stuff like that. So again, we don't know. We can guess all we want, okay? I think that, the hedgers and the dealers have a better idea, a lot better idea than we do of what they see, but even they don't know for sure, obviously. And I think we got to take baby steps and see how it plays out here, and see how it plays out. If we can get that Sharpie signal similar to post-election back to a neutral stance, I'd feel a lot better about it. I feel a lot better about everything I'm seeing out there right now. Everything I'm seeing. Because, all the reopening inflation names, definitely, I could see a correction there. I could definitely see a correction there. Probably be buyable at some point in time, but I could definitely see a correction there. The other stocks, all the other shit, the names we've been looking at recently, and I think, honestly, we still need to look at right now for trades over the short term here, okay? Because I think that's, again, that's where the outperformance is going to be. Look at the NASDAQ today. Green, right? Well, and the rest of the market flipped red and had sort of a little bit of selling. Nothing major, but you should see more outperformance on the growth end, especially now, rates are doing the complete opposite of what everybody and their mother thought they would do, except for Cathie Wood. You know what I mean? That was extreme positioning for that higher rate theme. And if that needs to be undone, unwound in a sense, you're going to get decent outperformance in NASDAQ and growth. Again, I don't want to label it tech because it's not just tech. It's primarily tech, but, it's basically NASDAQ, right? It's basically NASDAQ. Menagerie. Yeah, listen, and Trey, this. The exogenous events, you don't want to waste your time trying to forecast them. They're so rare. You know what I mean? They're so rare that you're going to be wasting your time over the course of your career trying to forecast, these things that come out of the blue like COVID. But what I've learned to be on the safer side is when I see a signal like we're seeing out of the Sharpie camp right now, it's better to be cautious. You know what I'm saying? It's better to be cautious just in case there's something that we don't see than getting caught in something like COVID and getting buried. I think the good thing about before COVID, I remember, because I was in 100% cash and I wasn't even thinking about buying anything, sentiment across the board was cooked. You understand? So when Sharpies went full max hedged, I was already in cash and not even thinking about buying anything. Even with the market going to new highs before rolling over, like right here. At this point here, right? Am I there? No. Yeah. Okay. So here, I was already 100% in cash and I had, I wasn't seeing anything constructive out there. And then this happened and it was only worse. I still didn't see anything. That was where so I didn't even, you know what I mean? There wasn't even anything enticing me to get long, So it happened to work out well with the Sharpie signal. Here, well, look, it's not that bad. Sentiment's not that bad. It's not all in like a lot of people would have you think. That doesn't mean there can't be a correction. You don't have to be all in for a correction, but it's not that all in where there has to be a correction. So look, so we'll look at sectors again if you want to. Let's look at, here are the Goldman indicators we look at. Okay, these came out today. Oh. All right, so here's a consensus of all their indicators. Basically neutral. Well, same thing. Some of the shorter term stuff with the last rip here, last week. You know, you got a little bit of heat, but again, all in, these would all be floored. And, they were getting closer. If you could look at the light blue and orange diamonds, you could see all of them were moving to the right? Now the dark blue diamonds is where it's at currently. And you could see these down here have been moving to the left. So that's why, like, again, my best guess would be more of a range-bound consolidation than, even VIX positioning. It's not one-sided. Nowhere near one-sided. Nowhere near one-sided. Meaning that players aren't short buying puts in VIX. It's kind of neutral, as weird as that sounds. Here's Goldman positioning. Okay, again, here, right? Now, if the market rolls over, you're going to get a lot of people trapped there. But then they started pricking those bubbles, all those mini bubbles that were underneath the hood. And look, so now you're dead neutral here. This thing dips here, it's a buy signal in a bull market. These are major pulls here. This is COVID and all to get down here. Usually you get a little dip here, you're in an uptrend, that's a buy signal. So my point, again, neutral, right? Not bullish. I'm not going to make the argument bullish, but neutral. Risk appetite, that's starting to roll over. And look what they're doing. All the risk appetite up there, right? Remember we used to talk about that appetite for call buying that was out there? It's gone. It's gone. It shows up here and there, but there's no retail crowd plowing into calls, printing their own money. There's no such thing anymore, And so look, the light blue is momentum. That's cooled off. And risk appetite, you're not going to get down here unless you get some price action alongside it. You know what I mean? So, again, has cooled off. The heat that we were looking at has cooled off. Hold on, I didn't post it. So this is the BOVA client flow, right? That comes out. Retail, listen, look at this. Biggest net sales by retail since the market bottom. What? You kidding me? You know what I mean? What? All right. And hedge funds who did a little buying have been sellers for a month straight, as we were looking at. And institutions, the one crowd that you want to see buy, right? You don't want to see them all in, but you want to see them buy. They've been buying. So, there's nothing bearish out of this. There's nothing bearish out of this. And again, if anything, it's bullish. What we've been looking at has been bullish for money going into NASDAQ and growth again. Right? I'm not even talking about an extreme, guys. Right? I'm not talking about that all of a sudden that whole reopening inflation trade has to get unwound and growth is back on the table in a leadership role. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about some money coming out, kind of a reversion to the mean type thing because it was overdone on one side. Right. Fear, greed, cooled off. A lot of things. A lot of things we looked at. That we look at. What was I looking at here? Oh, let's go to this here. I didn't put the other thing. Oh, because I ran out of pages. Here, hold on. Let me do that a sec. You guys can look at this in the meantime. Can I blow this up or no? Nah, that does got some rule. All right, so this is just the weekly flows and saying, what does it say? ETF inflows, cyclical defensive outflows. Buying was driven by institutional clients. This is overall here. Oh, here, this is what I wanted to see. Hedge funds, they're over here. See, they sold last week, they bought. Here's retail. Sold a little last week, the week prior, and then you saw what they said. Biggest out sellers since the COVID lows. I didn't put the other hedge fund thingy. I forgot to post. Well, there's nothing there anyhow. No big changes on the hedge fund indicator. But you guys see what I'm talking about? So you see what I'm talking about? So again, to sum it up, right? And especially if you're new to this, because maybe you get dizzy if you're not familiar with it. Basically, sentiment's at a neutral stance right now, right? So let's say neutral, right? Not bullish, not bearish, okay? But unfortunately, a crowd we follow in the futures market is positioned bearish. Max hedge. Yeah, I think, it wouldn't surprise me one bit, Chop. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. A lot of us, Ani, right, would like a quick pull, but I think too many of us would like that. And usually when too many of us want it, it doesn't happen. Yeah. So Lucy, we throw that tactical word around loosely at times, but the meaning behind it for this particular environment, meaning that if there is something that the sharp money sees that becomes a problem, you don't want to get caught with a bag of calls in between, right? You don't want to get caught holding calls 1 to 3 months out. And sharpies were hedged and you find out the reason why sharpies were hedged. So the way to combat it means don't carry as much weight at once, right? If you're going to hold something overnight, hold a swing position in calls. Don't go 5, 6 deep in names, so play it like that. And, utilize, like you already do, Luce, I see you every day, but utilize short-term sentiment to your advantage, right? So we get the squeezometer, a nice dip, right? Tactical sentiment or the anti-VIX come in nicely or fire bullish signals. That's where you want to lean towards an entry. You know what I mean? Or to entries. And then when you lose that signal, just be a lot more selective and more tame. What's that mean, Nolan? What list is that? HSBC list? Of what? Degenerates? Oh, that's great. HSBC put me on a list of follows. Too bad Jack suspended my account. Rat bastard. Yeah, I'm going to have to, I'm going to give you guys a heads up, and Lucci will probably tweet it out because I can't. But if we're going to see what happens, if, within the next week or so, we don't hear back from them because they're kind of like ducking us now. I'm probably just going to start a new new Twitter account, you know, and we'll take it from there. In the meantime, I know not a lot of you guys are on there, but I've been on there for years. I'm on StockTwits. You know, I'm on the other social media sites, but I don't really use them. Yeah. One or the other, we're either going to get that account back or, he got out of it. A couple other guys too. I don't want to throw around names because, you know, I don't know what the hell. But a couple of us got banned, suspended, and everybody got back but me. I don't know. Jack is the Antichrist. You know what I mean? Telegram? Maybe I'll look into that. I'll try that out, Telegram. I've heard of that. A couple people on Twitter use it, right? Nah, Discord's more of a like chat. You know what I mean? I don't want. We got the Steamroom for that. They won't know. How are they going to know it's me, Suma? They won't know. Yeah? Are you serious? Later, Luce. Come on, man. I gotta change my IP. You gotta be kidding me. All right, we'll see what happens. Yeah, look at Trump, right? But Trump, you know, he's a celebrity politician. He's got to use his name. Otherwise, what's the point? You know what I mean? So it's a little different. They can track him down. I mean, Wall Street Jesus, they're going to track down for crying out loud. You got to be kidding me. Nah, let them scare me. I'll find a home. Like I said, StockTwits, I know there's a lot of little degenerates on there and it gets on people's nerves. But, you know, I had that on Twitter too, so it doesn't bother me. You know, so I've been on StockTwits for a long time. I like that it's just market oriented. That's why I like StockTwits. You know, Twitter, you get politics, you get racism, you name it. But it's funny they waste their time with me. You know what I mean? Like, open a conversation, tell me what I can and can't do, and spend your time fucking rounding up the rest of your headaches you got going on there. Get your priorities straight. Yeah, you got ISIS posting. You like chopping people's heads off on there. Like, come on, wake up. You know what I mean? Smarten up, Jack. Smarten up. But anyway, we'll figure it out, and I'll let you guys know. But anybody have any questions? Let's look at a couple names. You guys want to look at a couple names before we wrap it up? I know, Matt. It's ridiculous. Oh, okay. Here, I see a couple names already. You had a down day here. You know, I hate to, you know how I am, especially now. Like, you've had a little bit of a move here. But, yeah, I think this thing, you know, I've been telling you, even when this looks like crap, I think it's a matter of timing. I think if you can go out and play Jan calls, it's probably your safer bet. But I think it goes higher. You know, I think it goes higher. You know, now you got to pay up for it, though. Now you got to pay up for it. But STNG, the CEO's buying too, by the way. He's been buying calls. So, but it's a real pain in the rear end, this stock. Let's be honest. It's a pain in the rear end. It's a pain in the rear end. Yeah, we got a couple names. But listen, it's overdue for a nice move. I think it could fit into this underbelly type crowd that can squeeze, spec crowd that can squeeze. Because this thing hasn't moved with the inflation and reopening stocks. You know, this has done hardly anything much. So, you know, I think with the economy's reopening all, this thing should have moved already, and maybe now it hits its best stride. So it looks good. I would wait for a little rest here because this thing has been moving. Sava, they hit again. Anybody have any dates or anything? Any FDA dates on this Sava? It's been catching some flow. Conference tomorrow. Okay. So there you go. And 3 updates in June. So you got a lot of stuff going on. You got a lot of stuff going on. All right, but this is the type of name, these are the type of names that you probably don't have to worry about the market much. There was a block in this today. At first, I thought it was a sweep, and I got all excited because like a name like this, Later Tree, a name like this, I wouldn't mind buying, even if the market gets funky. It actually may do well if the market, if it's nothing to get excited about. Later, Mason. So, the biotech names, some healthcare names, a lot of the defensive names we've been seeing catching flow, they might hang in there and do okay if the market underperforms. They got earnings coming up, the 2 animals. So we'll see how that goes. ZS. Did they come out? Oh, that's right. Today, I forgot. Yep. See, you would have rather this thing be down off earnings and then it'd be worth a look now that we're seeing rotation, I see it up over here. And you know what else was good about this rotation? If you look, and it's still good. It's they just bounced a bit. You had 9er lows across the board in these things. You had a nice low here with sentiment to give it a little boost. So this is up here now off earnings. But you don't mind seeing this thing come down a little bit, hang around here, and then you got another opportunity. But this is, these are the studs that should get the most attention. Twilio, ZS, Roku, we saw some flow there. Anybody trade the Roku yesterday? It was up, so I didn't chase it. What's another one? Oh, crowd. Let's look at crowd. Yeah, that too. Nice smooth off the spot there. So what I would do now in these things, I would wait to let them come in, not drastically, just a little breather off this run. Because, you got a half decent move now. You get a little breather kind of like this, and then you see sweeper activity, especially into that. Then maybe you get another move here. Shop. I mean, this thing's been sideways for a while too, right? Let's see. Yeah. I don't know if these things can get hot though, but we'll see. Roblox is a beast. I mean, kind of bothers me. I wanted to buy it in my daughter's account, because she uses it. I didn't buy it. I don't know what the hell I was waiting for her. This was setting up nice, this Roblox. It was stuck in this, and it caught some nice July action, but I didn't think this was coming that quick. That's why. Yeah, it looks good. 73. Wow. Mike, that's a nice hit already. Yeah, that's a nice hit. Nice job, Mike. Yeah, this does look really good. Really good. So, at this point now, if you do get a breather, whatever type of breather, you might just get something like this if it's that bullish, one of these like tight little flaggy things. Keep an eye on the sweeper activity into that for trades. Well, yeah, this looks pretty strong. WB, we were talking about that in the room today. We were all saying if this wasn't a Chinese stock, we probably all would have played it. The Chinese stocks rub us the wrong way these days. Yeah, they're tough. But supposedly this has a big short position, and it caught a lot of action today. China. A lot of Chinese names today. A lot of Chinese. A couple of you guys are still holding VIPs. Those of you who didn't take profit wanted to hold on to it. I don't really blame you there. I still think you guys will end up cashing the ticket. You just might have to, you're waiting out some agita. But I can't blame you. I would have held it too if I didn't go into sell everything mode, Matt. I didn't have any intentions of just trading it. But, I pulled the plug on everything I had. It wasn't VIX specific. But yeah, I think I still think you're alive in these things. Obviously, you don't like where you are now, but I think you're still alive. Yeah, right. Tiger. Yeah, these Chinese names, guys, they look okay. I just, there's enough damage in American growth names that I really don't feel too comfortable in these Chinese names. They're tough. All right, listen, with that said, options were made for this, Put in what you're willing to lose and don't worry about it. You like WB that much? Risk your premium. That's it. Just don't size up and say, oh, I'm going to put a stop loss on my calls. Because, there's one negative China headline and you're done. And it's got nothing to do with anything. But they're moving in a pack right now. Even FXI caught some flow today. By the way, this too, if you guys remember, Matt, we were looking at this bullish signal. Squeeze flow, yep. This had a little lift too. Because this is in that camp. It was all laggards catching the flow today. That's interesting, Doug. The home building names and stuff like that, they were up today. And what's interesting is they started to cool off a little bit ahead of time here. I know you got tolls coming out with earnings. I don't know. This is a tough call too for me. Tough call. I don't know what you're rooting for there. Inflation, non-inflation, Yeah, I just think exactly. And this can easily head higher, without a doubt. But it could use a little length behind this breather. They look good, though. They look good. They look good. Like you got major breakouts here, right? Not that extended. You know what I mean? They're not as extended as some of the other reopening names. And they look okay. They look okay. You know what it is, Doug? For me, like if you don't know my style, I like stuff down, either off lengthy consolidation, but even better, like, what the hell did I do here? Down here, right? Like that's the stuff I like to swing positions on. Like when they get up here and these pullbacks, like I look to trade. if that makes any sense. That's more my style. I miss a good amount of winners, but it also keeps me disciplined and selective. I'm looking for more risk reward, potential risk reward, even though most of the time I'm not even holding on to it enough. VRTX. Yes. So this would be more my speed if it caught sweeper activity. I'm not just going to buy without sweeper activity because, who knows? This thing could head south from here. I have no idea. But if it did catch sweeper activity somewhere in here, I would be interested. I would be interested in something like this. But yeah, this is more like my cup of tea. I mentioned that like INCY. There you go, right? See? Because the reason why I usually swing stuff out minimum 3 to 6 months, and this already happened. You understand? So now if this thing catches quality sweeper activity, that's my edge that this is about to come to an end. You understand? And I have this already in the bag. I'm not going to get caught in that. When I play, for the most part, when I play calls, I put in what I'm willing to lose. The equity, I put a stop loss on. So, and that's another reason why I'm extremely selective, John. It's got, like, I play, as you guys know, the top-notch action out there, right? The best action that I feel is the best action out there. And I put in what I'm willing to lose. That's basically my stop. And I don't have to stress out getting shaken out and stuff like that. So that's why I'm looking for decent risk reward on the swing. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get in a trade and my stop is 0 because a trade I'm selling into strength as soon as I get it. So a lot of the stuff that I swing is quality action that I can be patient with, I can add to if I want to, and has done this already. Yeah. Airlines look good, Ani. Airlines look good. I know you were looking like at AAL. I don't know if you were just trading it and all. I just think they're jets. They're just frustrating, Another name, if you're not too interested in the airlines, this was up today, so maybe I would probably wait, let it simmer around here, and right away people are going to think this is, here we go again. But the difference here, you got a risk reversal today, January risk reversal in RCL. So you got some time. And if you get a little bit of a pullback here, this is not a bad look. Oh, it was a leap risk reversal, RCL? Get out. Damn. Shit, I didn't realize that. Well, there you go. But, you can, obviously, leaps are a long time. But, for something like this, you want to play with time. No? Like, this is not something you're looking to trade. Like, it's too annoying for that. You want to be able to be patient. You don't, just because you're buying with time doesn't mean it has to take that long. But at least you can be patient just in case you get caught in frustration. But then, once it gets out, it should get out. Test these highs up over 120. That's a nice hit, right? So it's definitely interesting. Yeah, at least September. At least. Definitely rain. at least. And again, I think it's something you would want to hold, Rain. You know what I mean? Maybe even want to add to. You know, if you get stuck in here for a bit, you know, you come back down to the lower end of the range, that might not be a bad place to add as well, you know? Yeah, yeah. And RCL catches decent order flow. Caught a couple bets with time, RCL, that were pretty good. VSAT, I remember this name when they bought it over here. This is nice. This looks good. Today was earnings, right? It was post-earnings action, I remember. So it looks good. Looks good. I don't know what sector. Yeah, it did something with Delta. I don't know what sector it falls into. Like, what is this thing? Satellites or some shit? Yeah. No, looks good. You know, what if you're not sold on it? What I would keep an eye on would be like the last time. If they keep coming for more, that would really firm it up. You know what I mean? That would really confirm that there's a nice spot with action here. It already is. No, earnings this morning, Rye. I think. I'm almost positive it was post-earnings action. Yeah, yeah. So, but definitely looks interesting. Like I said, if that's my point, like if you had this name on your radar already, you know, something you wanted to own, or if this consolidation here, that sweep is worth firing, you know, if you've been eyeing it. If not, I would continue to look out for action there. You know, let them force you into it. Yeah, that's a good idea. Buy a little bit and see. You know, because that's the thing too. Depending on how the overall market plays out, if we do get range-bound chop, names are going to work. Names are going to work. We just got to be in the right ones. So that's why, you know, you want to take baby steps here, be patient. Like I said, you don't want to get caught and sharpies have something up their sleeve. I didn't play it either. I day traded it, but it was definitely swingable action. BSX. Caught some nice action yesterday. This is another name, Roy, that if the market is tough, should be okay. It's a defensive name. You know what I mean? So barring a crash, if the market is having a tough time, this thing should do okay. This thing should do okay. We've been seeing a couple names like that. Cardinal Health, CAH, you know, the PGs of the world like we spoke about. So, you know, they're not the sexiest names out there, but they're defensive. Shorting? What do you mean shorting? Oh, people are talking about shorting Cardinal Health? Off what? Off news? Oh, fundamentals. I don't know anything about that. You know, I don't know anything about that. All I know, I mean, look, obviously, this stock has had issues, hasn't done a damn thing. But, you know, they're sweeping Jan calls if it ever gets out of there. But, you know, it was one day of action. There wasn't anything spectacular. So, nothing too dramatic there. What are the names we got? Oh, RNG, somebody mentioned. Hold on, let me look at RNG because that's part of that growth rotation. What the? Get this off my screen, damn it. Yeah, wow. Sheesh. Yep. A nice spot. Somebody was asking me about the comments go too quick, guys. I'm not ignoring you. I saw somebody ask about the bottom. That's just an oversold, overbought oscillator type thingy. Yeah, this is a nice nice spot. RNG. You know, nice spot. Even again, not to new highs, just even something like this. You know, even something like that. Yeah, what a beating. This thing was a hot stock too, though, right? Let me scroll back just to amuse ourselves with the run, because this thing, I remember this thing catching sweeps. This thing doesn't catch a lot of sweeper activity. Wow. My God. But, you know, this is a correction, right? There's no other way to put it. This is a correction here. That's a correction. So that's what I mean. A lot of these things have corrected. You know, can they go lower? Of course. Then you're talking about bear market type shit for these things. They can go lower. But what usually happens, you know, you get rally like that, and then it'll make its way down again, usually. You know, the junk, like the SPACs, and it'll go straight to hell. Where's, this was the stock, right? Ride. Oh, I can't even look at these charts. You know, this is a menagerie. Like, this is the stuff you really don't want to fool around with. Later, Dead. Yeah, so, I mean, basically, things like this, you look for these quick squeezes if you can get in the middle of. But that's the extent of it. You know, what would be bullish for this thing is to stay down here for a while and show that sellers are dead. But look what they did to this thing. A, B, and B. This is a weird stock. I don't know what category it falls in. You know what I mean? I really don't know anymore with this thing. One day it would rally with the reopening names, then sell off with the growth names. Why is this down here right now? Seriously, why? I don't understand. Because of valuation, right? So they threw reopening out the window, that this is a potential reopening play. Yeah, maybe it had to do with the lockup and stuff. Tough. But yeah, well, you washed out. You know, washed out. Yep, I hear you, Chris. But that's the game. You know what I mean? That's the game. You know, that's what happens in a market that doesn't correct. When you have a market that there's no correction, that's what you get, Chris. The constant rotation. For that to come to an end, you need a correction. And it will come to an end. But I get it. I agree with you, you know? But those are the consequences to having a market just go, you know, up off every dip. AMD looks interesting. There's been some half-decent flow in it with time. Selective. They're not bombing it. but it looks like they're starting to position in it. You know, it looks like they're starting to position in it. You know, AMD could catch a lot of action when they want it. ADI, that's been hot though, ADI. This thing's been rolling. This looks good. ADI looks good. Semi ETF. Yeah, they bought some of the SMH off the dip. You know, now you got a little bit of a rally though, so you know what I mean? They bought this dip. But now, you know, you had a nice rally here. So this thing could, if it breathes here a little bit, it'd be good. I mean, 1, 2, it's almost like 4 or 5 days in a row. Yeah, yeah. And they hit SMH, I think. Right? Didn't they buy SMH? I'm almost positive. Yeah, and the Soxol, whatever the hell it's called. But yeah, they look good. Micron was down today. They had some conference or something, but that still looks okay. But I agree. I think the laggards of the semis is worth keeping an eye on. You know, NVIDIA was that, but that already started moving. And you got earnings. Nah, Intel, I don't know. That's another name. I don't know what the hell it is. But, you know, when they go to the cyclicals and stuff like that, like look at these NXPI. They still look great, these things. You know, the only problem is these things have been running. You know, we spoke about this a couple of webinars ago for a while here. So that, you know, the dips are the opportunity, but one of these dips, you're going to see a little bounce, and then they're going to go into a little consolidation. You know, you can't do this forever. So that's the risk. Yeah, that's the other stud right here. This is the beast. LRCX. You know, but you're talking about killer moves in these things already. Killer. Look at this. Chips, I know, but you don't think that's already priced in? You don't think everybody is aware of that now? That's why, again, you have this move. You know? Yeah, there still could be some upside. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that, you know, it's pretty obvious now to everyone that chips are hot. You know, I think the semis, when they go into correction, like there's no better place to look. You know, once you start seeing sweeper activity come into that correction, you know, even if you're early and you're underwater, it's worth it. You know, this was COVID. Like LRCX, look at this. This was the trade war, right? Oh no, this was, yeah, the trade war. I think so. They were down in the trade war. But I remember that. Nobody wanted these stocks down here. And look at that. This was COVID. Look how small it looks. You know, so look at this. This is a big move. This is a big move. So again, trades, you know, trades. What else? What other names quickly? Bud. I think they got upgraded today, these beer stocks. Yeah. Wow, that's had a nice move here too. And that looks like more upside there. Bud. This one too. Yeah, it looks a little different. Sam, what a beast. Do you believe this stock, Sam? Look at this. That looks good too. Yeah, and right, it looks like more upside over time. They look pretty good. Tesla caught some action today. Tesla caught 2 sweeps today. One, the Ron Barron sweep, leaps. That's always a good sign. And then pretty decent sweep. Where is it here? Oh, I have it on the top bet list. Where am I going? Here's some of the top action from today. I got to add a couple on there. Here it is. Actually, I got the other one too. Hold on, this is not even the list. Oh, I didn't update it. So this is the one, June 11th, 650s. Right? I mean, the size is pretty normal for Tesla. It catches size. Short dated. Out is a REIT. A couple of the REITs caught some play today too. I'll look at them in a second. Here's BSX. Caught some more put selling and call buying. Oh yeah, Jan 2023 RCL. Son of a gun. Here's the AMD bet from today. Nice looking bet, right? Nice size. And what is this? What's that stock? FTAI. We've seen action in this FTAI before. Look at this thing. This is some stock, huh? And that's a nice order too, November's. Anybody own this? Fortress Trans and Infrastructure? Anybody know what this is? No? Acquiring, managing, and disposing transportation related infrastructure. Wow. Like this is a name, you know, nobody talks about. Looks really good. Jeez. Yep. Anyway, you know, nice looking November sweep there in Jefferson Terminal. So it looks like an infrastructure play, huh? Not too shabby. Look at this sweep. For a name nobody owns. It's a nice looking sweep. Definitely worth putting on a watch list. STX, this thing's been catching some size action lately. They had something to do with Bitcoin, and it's been hot as a pistol, this stock. Look at it. You got a little dip there, but, you know, it's not my cup of tea. This thing's been running a banshee. Damn. Yeah, but they have something DW to do with Bitcoin now, or crypto mining, or something to do with that. Some news came out and it exploded the other day. Oh, with the hard drives, right? Here. So there was sweeper activity. I don't know if you guys remember. Remember? They were bombing things there. And then, boop, I had the news. China mining. Yep. like the internet, Jim. Like .com. What other names we got? I saw an interesting name somebody threw out. It went by me too quick. Oh, out. Yeah, so here. AHT, that's a REIT. Was really active today. AHT, that's a REIT. Out. NRZ, this was further out. They were buying Jans. Quite a few REITs. Oh, good call. That's another one yesterday. Good call. Let me see something. What do the REITs look like? Not bad. Oh, that's not it. Stuff. What am I looking at? Oh, all right, here we are. Same shit. Not bad. They own a lot of brick and mortar properties. Interesting. Yeah, so the REITs, a lot of people thought they were going to heat up, and they kind of like stalled. And maybe now they'll start to wake up, right? They had this move here, and then they kind of got stuck. What's the other one? Vornado, VNO. Oh, that looks pretty interesting too, right? Yeah. Jesus Christ. I mean, there's a lot of upside in these things if they get going. Because we hear the word REIT and we turn our cheek, right? But, they could be nice squeeze plays. So there's definitely bullish flow there for us to keep an eye on. SPG, let's see. Yeah. Yeah, is the yield legit though? They still paying high yields? I know. BX, now that caught a lot of action. Wow, Blackstone. These financials are in such demand, but they gotta cool off. They gotta cool off. You know what I mean? And I get it. They were out of favor for so long. I get it. God, where would I be with that fast play right now? You know that? Oh my God. Moves with the indices, BX. Yep. That's a strong ass name. I know that. I can't believe Morgan Stanley, it caught that round of action, and Morgan Stanley's not as active as the other ones, but look at that go. What about Goldman still hot? Jesus Christ. The European ones look good. Here's the ETF for it. Caught some call buying. EUFN. So they definitely have more upside. DB, they've been buying. But, the ones here, I don't know how you buy them now. Yeah, DB. I remember in 2016, they were ready. People thought they were going under. They were the next Lehman in 2016, 2015, one of those days. Back here. Look, everybody thought they were the next Lehman. Look at this debacle. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Look, that's like buying the financials now. Can you imagine? Oh God. When you're thinking about buying the financials now, just look back. Wow. So that's 100 something, right? That's why these moves now, they look big, but in the grand, look at that. In the grand scheme of things, look at it. Look where it is. Yeah. These things, nobody would even think about buying these things. The last thing in the world you wanted to buy. They were shorted out the wazoo. So that's why people think over, longer term that these things still have upside because of all this. But the American banks, obviously, it's a different story. They've come back with a vengeance. Yeah, DB's a dog. DB's a dog. And we'll see, like the inflation type names, you got to be careful about. Again, just them, they might go into breather energy. A lot of people got a little overly bullish there, but they're already cooling off. So they're doing what they need to do. And listen, if you're bullish energy, you might get that buy signal before you know it. Right? So all you Tom Lee fans, listen, just in options, that's what it is, right? Longer term, you're not going to sell out of your energy stocks. But if you're buying calls, it'd be nice to try to avoid this, right? And it could get worse than this, like this. Depending on how far out you were. So as you come in on down days, you look for some flow. Look for an entry if you like these names. Yeah, K-Web. That thing too caught a bet. There was a lot of bottom feeding in these things. Hasn't really gone anywhere yet. He had a 9er low there too. All these things. Later, buddy. TQQQ. There's another one. What's the QQQJ? Yeah. So this is like tech underbelly, right? QQQJ. Looks pretty good. Yep. Look at these 9ers, guys. Look at this. Look at this. And both of these lined up with sentiment. Both. Within a day. Degenerate QQQ. But yeah, see, these looks interesting. So I'll leave it at this. If we could have our way, yeah, Trip looks good. We're just looking for flow. And with reopening, seeing some rotation out, it may hang around here. But this is more travel, so this is a nice spot, though. There was a little flow yesterday, but no sweeper activity. Today, there was nothing. And, Trip, they could bomb. But this is perfect. This happened. So this is perfect. It's going to offer up an entry. Trust me. There's going to be sweeper activity. It's going to be a matter of, do we end up pulling the trigger or not? There'll be an entry. They play, there's wise guy money in Trip. We know that already. They bombed this thing down here, bombed it. And on the way up, there was all sorts of flow. So they're eyeing this dip. You know it. So it's coming. It's coming. And you don't get this luxury a lot of times, right where we needed to, a couple days later, but right where we needed to stop and digest, it did. Yeah, Pink Panther getting washed out pretty much, almost 38. Yeah, looks good. Looks good. So if we could get some sweeper activity, and you got some sizzle there too, right? They shifted the business model around. I guarantee you that's why those sharp sweeps with time, the risk reversals and all, that's what they were doing. I understand like it was COVID and they were buying blood, but they had to have an idea about the business shifting like that. Yep, exactly, John. Exactly. Risk reversal, they sell puts, and the money they take in from the puts, they buy calls. Beyond. I mean, a lot of these names, I would just look, over the short term here, look for some trades. I don't love these names. I like the quality of the underbelly. Like Beyond is not quality. You know what I mean? But there'll be short covering. There'll be short covering. Like, look at this. What the hell is this? Look at that. So you could get some shorts to cover, and we haven't seen much of any sweeper activity, if that's what you're asking, though. TT. Oh, Tattoo Chef. I know this stock. There's another one. Reason Niner. Had one here too. Not much of a bounce. A little bit. Oh, this is the next SPAC. Yeah, I remember caught some flow, this name. Tattoo Chef. So many of these names. PLTR has been catching some flow over the last couple days, but it's all weeklies, all of it. Some here and there, they're going out. You see some further out strikes, but all the heat is all in weeklies. That's the other thing here, right? Like a lot of these names look appealing, the setup, but all the flow is in weeklies. So they're telling you they're just playing squeezes right now, They're just playing squeezes. Yeah, I mean come on. This is a disaster. I don't even know what is this? How do you go public and then this happens? What is this Wish? What is it? A retail name? eBay? Jesus Christ. Death Wish? Yeah. So, some of these names are gonna come back. Some of them are gonna be new leaders eventually. You know what I mean? But there's gonna be some dogs that just languish. So I'm not trying to figure out the business and try to predict the fundamentals. I'm going to try to allow the sweeper activity to guide me. Oh, speaking of Funko, what's that little stock that's been catching flow? That NFT play, not Muds. That had a nice move. A newer one, cheap, small stock, BBIG. What's this all about? Is this NFT garbage hype? That's what this is? So it's been catching some action. Yeah, it's been catching action. So I wonder what the hell is going on. I'm going to look at the action a little more tonight. NTP is the next Playboy. It's always the next something, right? Oh my God. What the hell is this? Jesus Christ. NTP. Nam Tai. Let me guess. They own property in China. Real estate market. Never take profit. Yeah, this is. I wouldn't touch this with gloves on. Name T. This is electronics? I thought maybe it's tied to the China. Oh, China NFT? Funny. Real estate. Oh, no, look, real estate development. See? Because isn't the Chinese real estate market going ape shit? They think it is. It's going berserk. NFT houses. Oh, what a market. What a market. Yeah. You got to what? These Chinese stocks, right? You know, they all, listen, they have good runs and you can make money in them, but you better not overstay your welcome, right? When they come down, boy. Yeah, GameStop. Well, you know, GameStop looks okay. You know, GameStop doesn't even look bad. But a lot of these meme stocks were ripping today. Yeah, AMC. AMC too had the reopening theme to it. So it's been holding up better. Yeah, but I don't know. These things don't really excite me too much. Like I would just be careful on like, you know, then you see flow going to these guys and, you know. But if you're wondering if it's a problem, it's not a problem. There's nowhere near the crowding that we saw earlier in the year, if that's what you're worried about. You know? Now what happens, you get, you know, some shysters get in, they buy some out of the money calls, get some people gassed up, get a squeeze going, and they make free money. Yeah. Where are they? They're nowhere to be found? Shamath. Nokia. Ay. Look at that. They're like ruined the chart, this thing. It looks like a mistake. You know those misprints that you get on the charts? But yeah, you like Ani said, you trade these things, get in and out, ride the momentum. You know, they ruined GameStop. GameStop, I don't know if I said it a million times. You guys probably don't even remember this thing was catching nice flow before that pump came in, the squeeze. Here. Yeah, remember? It had a nice move and everything, and then it got crazy. You know, but now let them run it. Yeah, it's so funny. You hear Joey, you hear the stories now, right? Of the smarter money who made the scores in the thing, right? Who got in before the rush. I think they're buying Tesla now. I think I read. No, Tesla or Amazon, something I think. Oh, Tesla, right? But yeah, I wouldn't worry about these meme stocks. The only thing, if you want to make a bearish argument, is a lot of times these spec names run before there's a little pullback in the market. It's like the last place to hide, they say. But as far as tipping over the market, the crowding, not even close. Not even close. Yeah, not even close. Back then, you had, uncle, sister, and all your relatives buying, getting in, calling you up. Should I buy it? Should I buy it? It's going to 10,000. Obviously, that's not going on now. Hog. That's been a strong name. I know there's been some decent action in this thing. I can't up here. But it's in process, it looks like, of a little breather. With a little breather, it'll look better, I think. But, look, right? That's a big move for Hog. So a little breather here is almost expected. Like, look, you had this move, right? And then you got something like this. Nice digestion. So it doesn't have to be this long, but I would look for some sort of digestion here. Doesn't mean it has to, but what do you play on the 4 hour? You play Niners? I look at 4 hour a lot too. Yeah, EV bike. That's what I heard. 4 hour. Yeah, I got 4 hour up here. I look at it a lot. Now, again, it's not, you can't develop an algo and trade off it, Ani, as you know. I'm not saying I'm just saying in general. But I tell you, the Niners, a lot of times when they line up with sentiment, they offer up some nice entries. They offer up some nice entries. Even, what I look at? Even Bitcoin I look at when it's not too, when it's not too crazy. Where is it? What's Bitcoin doing here? I still haven't come close. See how this Bitcoin plays out. It's not really bouncing too much, It's going to be interesting. I mean, this is nothing for Bitcoin, right? This is nothing yet. Like, this is healthy, right? This needed to happen. And it did it. Does it end here? That's the question. You know what I mean? Does it end here? Because there was a lot of selling. Like, put it this way. All the margin selling, all that got out here for the most part. Like, I'm talking about all the riffraff. But if you take another trip south here, you got something wrong. You got headaches. Yeah, you need these. These are healthy, definitely. These are healthy for, and all the other shit gets washed away. The shit coin, ass coin. I read an article in Bloomberg, ass coin billionaire. Whoever started ass coin. Did you know there was ass coin? The ass. Like, I can you find that on here? I don't even know how that works. Ass coin. Come rocket? What is that? Seriously. Like, come on. It's ridiculous now. We're going to name them after cuss words, for crying out loud. All right, boys and girls. It's always a pleasure. As I always say, thanks for stopping by, taking the time out, talk some shop. All right, good. Yeah, the Jays got a good team. Vladimir Guerrero's ripping bulls apart. But we know what to look for this week. Okay, keep an eye out and look again, like we've been seeing these last couple of days for rotation, underbelly NASDAQ for some trades. Have a good night, everybody.